So for today's topic, we have to talk about a tragic story that is currently making its rounds on the internet and going viral in regards to a cruise ship crew member that was initially thought to be missing for 5 days. However, it turns out that the ending results are far more heartbreaking. And in this video, we will go over the details that are available so far. We will also talk about how this possibly could have happened, because many see this situation as potentially avoidable or at least a little suspicious. I'll also tell you guys a similar story that I personally experienced from back when I worked on board cruise ships. So this sad story involves a 32-year-old cruise ship waiter by the name of Jtravelcontact from the Philippines. He was working on board the MSC Posia. For your information, the ship launched back in 2008 and holds roughly 3,600 passengers at full capacity. Now, on February 22nd here in 2025, this ship was leaving Uruguay. However, shortly after, it wouldn't be discovered until later, but for some reason, Jtravelcontact went overboard. And at some point later, the security on board would discover the surveillance footage and find out that he did indeed go overboard, but they didn't know anything about this until they discovered that he didn't show up for his work shift. And that's when everybody got curious, which led them to eventually check the surveillance footage. Now, once it was confirmed that Jtravelcontact had unfortunately gone overboard on deck 7, the captain would immediately alert the Uruguayan Navy, and they would launch a search operation, which would include both a boat and an aircraft to aid in the search. Eventually, as the ship carried on to its normal route, you would then have the Brazilian authorities that would assist in the search, and unfortunately 5 days after searching, the results would be extremely tragic, as they would recover Jtravelcontact. However, he would no longer be with us. At this point in time, there has been a hearing with the Senate committee as well as the DMW, that's the Department of Maritime Workers, to coordinate with the agency that was responsible for getting Jtravelcontact his contract and on board this MSC cruise ship. They are obligated now to make sure that Jtravelcantact's family is financially as well as psychologically being taken care of. They are also going to be responsible for ensuring that Jtravelcantact's body is taken back to his family so that he can be laid to rest. Also, as you can imagine, there has now been a confirmed investigation that has taken place looking into Jtravelcantact's alleged fall, because obviously authorities want to make sure there is no potential for foul play to be involved. Because I say this all the time on the channel, nobody just falls off of a cruise ship. Typically, it's 3 scenarios. Either the person intentionally, of their own free will, jumped off of the cruise ship, or they were playing on the railing or something of that nature and they fell overboard, or the less likely scenario, which is being investigated, there is some foul play involved. In order to conduct this investigation, MSC is obligated now to hand over all CCTV surveillance footage and any evidence that they have into Jtravelcantact's fall. Now, before we break all of this down, of course, my sincere condolences go out to the friends, family, and loved ones of Jtravelcontact. This is an extremely tragic situation, and I do hope that the investigation does determine that there was no foul play involved, because you do have Jtravelcantact's family that is asking for answers and justice as well, because they want to know what exactly happened. Now, looking at this situation from, I want to say, the outside, it is a little suspicious. Like I said, and we all know this, if you've been on a cruise ship, you know that nobody, absolutely nobody, just falls off of a cruise ship unless you are, let's say, maybe 7'5" or taller. You can't just fall off the railing. It's literally designed for you not to fall off. Now, in terms of why this happened or how this could have potentially happened, there is naturally going to be a lot of curiosity and speculation and questions, and for myself included, because typically when somebody goes overboard on a cruise ship, a lot of times it is recognized, and hopefully recognized anyway, right away, so that the proper authorities can be contacted so they can conduct a search and rescue effort. Now, in this particular case, it wasn't known that Jtravelcantacct had gone overboard until they discovered that he didn't show up for his shift, and then you had the staff on board this MSC ship going back to the surveillance footage to find out what exactly happened. The first question that would be asked is, why didn't the man overboard detection system work? Well, I would imagine this ship is a little bit older, and even then, for most modern cruise ships, they don't have man overboard detection systems. Why? Because I know they can be costly, and I know as far as the maintenance, it can be a little much. However, the cruise lines are required by law to have some type of safety measure in place for people that do go overboard. In this particular case, and honestly for most cruise ships, it is the CCTV surveillance. That way they can detect when somebody goes overboard and physically see what exactly has taken place in these particular circumstances. I would imagine now people are going to be demanding that there are more safety measures that are implemented to keep both the crew and guests safe on board aboard cruise ships. Because if this is happening on this particular MSC ship, and I would argue it's not exactly a mega ship like you would see with, let's say, the World America set to debut for MSC, or Icon of the Seas of Royal Caribbean, where there is double, triple the amount of people, they should have potentially some other measure in place to ensure that people, if they, and hopefully not, but go overboard, it is of course recognized very quickly, and search and rescue efforts are able to be deployed immediately to ensure the safety of that person that has unfortunately gone overboard. Now, with all of that said, I do want to ask all of you, do you believe that there is the potential somewhere, somehow, some way for some type of foul play to be involved in this matter? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, as we wrap this video up, there was a similar, and I would argue equally as tragic of a story that took place on the cruise ship that I used to work on as a performer back in 2018, the Norwegian Escape. I was in an African-American Broadway show called After Midnight. And typically, whenever you work on cruise ships as a performer, there are what you call cast, the group of people that you are performing with for the entirety of your contract. And when I leave, or my contract ends with my cast, there is a whole nother group or cast that comes in to replace me. However, the cast prior to me had a very sad situation take place. You see, there was a girl that was working on the ship as a performer in the show, and a lot of people noticed that she was very distant from time to time, and then one day she just upped and disappeared, gone, like Houdini. And as people started looking for her, they thought maybe she stayed back on their last port of call or island, or maybe she locked herself in her room. However, it would be discovered that she wasn't there either. Unfortunately, days later, the CCTV surveillance footage would discover that in the middle of the night, she jumped off of the cruise ship. Anyway, once again, my sincere condolences do go out to the friends, family, and loved ones of these two individuals that I talked about here in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is there a way to prevent these type of tragic situations from happening? Yes or no? Also, this is a quick reminder to all of you to not only be careful who you're cruising with. If you're going with a friend, family, loved one that maybe you know aren't doing okay and they don't have a passion or desire for cruising and it makes them feel better, just look out for your people. Or if you're a crew member, of course, again, when you are away from your friends and family for 6 to 9 months, sometimes even longer, it can mentally get to you. So just check on your people, love your people, and that's what I have to say for this video. Hit that like button on your way out, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.